Never thought this would be the first video that I uploaded in 2023, but you know. And if I sound really bad, it's because I'm still recovering from a sinus infection. So I might cough a few times throughout this video, but it's fine, I can just cut it out later. Anyway, let's get into it.
Run along this forest trail. Now you fight, you fail. Never gonna reach that goal. Now give me your soul.
So if you're a part of the retro gaming quote fandom, you probably heard about DKOldies. They're an online store that sells video game related items like consoles, games, controllers, accessories for your consoles, etc, etc, etc. And you've probably heard of the, I guess, drama surrounding them about like their consoles coming in dirty or their prices being like super outrageous, etc. I'm gonna try and explain why all that is happening, even though there are plenty of videos out there doing the same thing, and yet you clicked on this one. Why did you do that? Anyway, let's get into the who. So, if you are unaware, you're probably wondering, who is DKOldies? I don't know who that is. The only DK I know is you, DK, talking right now. And I say, thank you. But they're a family-owned business who sells video games and video games related items, like I said previously. And they have a lot of, if not all of, every game. Like, you can probably buy Project Sakai for the 3DS in the same place you can buy Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360. I don't know if Sonic Unleashed is on the Xbox 360, but I'm gonna roll with that anyway. And that can be convenient in some cases because I'm sure no one wants to run around on different websites for hours trying to find two different games that are in no way related to each other, except for the fact that they're video games, and you can't find both on Amazon. And branching off of that a little bit, it's like Amazon for video games, except they have everything and not just some things. And keep in mind, they're strictly online. They cannot, like, their warehouse is not a store that you can go to. But I did see a comment in one of the videos that I've watched where it seems like they were once a walk-in store before COVID happened. And keep that in mind, because that's going to be very important later. But moving on, DKOldies prides themselves with their cleaning department. They make a lot of videos explaining how they resurface discs, or they clean old N64 cartridges, or they like solder on batteries in old Game Boy games, and they even clean some of their systems. They have an option in their store where you have the chance to buy a cosmetically flawed coffee, which basically means you're buying one that they didn't clean already, or they made sure it worked but didn't clean it thoroughly. Like, maybe they dusted it off a little bit, but, you know. And, again, kind of going off from that a little bit, their prices have a huge gap, typically. So, the most expensive games would be a complete clean copy, which would include the box, the manual, and the game. Depending on if it's a disc copy or not, it might have the box art. Although, I guess if it's a cartridge game, I guess it would technically still have the box art, but whatever. And the most cheapest game being a game-only cosmetically flawed copy. So, now that we have some information, some background information about DK and the company, let's see what all the fuss is about.
I guess that makes me invincible, huh? That's too bad.
It seems like one of the main problems is the prices of the games. I mean, no one expects them to be cheap because they're old as the hills. But a lot of people say that the games are overpriced or that the prices are outrageous or whatever. And some people have been comparing them to an in-store price. So like comparing like let's say for example, a good condition 3DS. They're selling one for $240, right? Like a walk-in store that you would find off the side of the highway, they'd be selling one for like 150 maybe. And then they would go off from that and say, "Oh, well, DKOldies is a scam because they're overpricing." That's kind of a hard claim to make, in my opinion, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, since they're a strictly online business, it's gonna cost more to ship a game than it's not gonna be to ship a game. Like a walk-in store won't ship a game, right? You're already there. Why would they ship it to your house? I mean, unless you don't have any storage in your car, you would buy it and then put it in your car later, so they wouldn't have to ship it, right? DKOldies is a strictly online business, so they kind of have to ship it, and they probably up their prices a little bit for that shipping cost, not actually including the shipping if they have any on any of their games. The way that they sell the games in the consoles is also how they're gonna how they're gonna play their employees, right? Walk-in stores kind of do this as well, but it's especially crucial for online businesses to up their prices a little bit to pay their employees, right? They also have to pay for building fees. You know, they have this huge warehouse, and it's gotta be hard to be keeping track of all of the bills for it, right? Sorry. So they're probably gonna have to pay like $50 to $100. I don't know how much bills are for their warehouse, right? So like again, let's go back to our good condition 3DS, for example. They're selling one for $240, and let's take away $5 for that for shipping for DK. And there, let's say we have $35 to evenly split between the employees, and that leaves $200 without taxes. With taxes, let's say $50 to $100, like I just said. And the inflated price also adds in the time it took to clean the console / game or whatever, right? So, taking all of that into account, they're probably gonna make like 150 or maybe even 100. And really, a lot of businesses need more than that to have a fruitful business, which is why their prices are so inflated. They gotta have a stable income to keep up with probably the price they pay to use the website that they made. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Etc., etc., like I just said. And again, an in-store location isn't gonna have to do 2 of those. I mean, they won't have to ship, and yeah, they're gonna still have to do taxes. They're still gonna have to do employee pay. They're still gonna have to factor in the time it took to clean whatever they were trying to sell. But that's why an in-store price is a little bit cheaper than an online price. And a lot of the videos I've seen are just complaining about the price. They don't take any of this into account. And I'm not saying I'm better than them because of that. But I am saying you kind of need to open up your brain a little bit. You need to be more open-minded if you're gonna come out here and say that an entire business is scamming you because their prices are a little bit higher than an in-store price or an eBay price. And, like, okay. eBayers have to do the same kind of thing, right? They have to pay shipping fees. That's not exclusive to just businesses. And they don't up their price because of it. They're just like, oh well, at least in my dad's case. So, I understand comparing eBay prices to like other store prices. Because eBay is kind of like the know-all for that kind of stuff. I've even done it a few times, but it's not really helping you in this case. And again, a lot of the videos that I've seen are just people who probably are too young to have experienced these games as a child, like me, and are just crying about crying about a number in front of their 3-monitor setup and in their giant office and probably their giant house that they own and run themselves. And like a lot of the prices they're crying about is a popular game and like just the game. Like a popular old game that has no box, no manual, no art, and it's just a popular game that's very old. And like even when they bring out the good condition ones, then is when people get really riled up because they're obviously higher than the cosmetically flawed version because they had to go through all that time cleaning it and whatever than they would have to do with the cosmetically flawed version. I've also seen people complaining about how they would replace XYZ thing because it was broken, but they don't replace XYZ thing because it's going to be broken, or because they fixed this one thing, so they need to fix the other. And especially when it's a console, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Because if you try to fix it, then there's a small chance that it could actually damage the console, and then people would get more mad at them because they're like, you're a business, you need to do better, man. You almost have 1 million subscribers. Do better. And it's only going to add more labor to fix something that isn't going to be broken for another 10 plus years if they keep up with the condition. Like, if a customer, let's say a customer buys a game that, let's say a customer ordered a console, right? And originally, this console had a bad laser, so the disc couldn't be read, right? Well, let's say that there was kind of a small issue with the cooling system, but the cleaners at DKOldies didn't think that it wouldn't be broke for another 10 plus years, but they wanted to be safe, and so we were like, hey, let's clean that. And then they did, and then it breaks, and then, or let's say it didn't break, let's say it got more worse, and they didn't have anything to replace it, and the customer who ordered the console gets it in that condition, right? And let's say that along the line, they absolutely abuse this console. Like, they don't keep up with it. They, throw it around the house like it's a football. And then one day they go to play their game, and, oh no, the cooling system's broken and it catches on fire or something. I don't know if that happens. It might. And then they're gonna come out and say, DKOldies is the worst. I bought this system from it. And, yeah, it endured all my abuse. But now it's on fire. That's DKOldies' fault. Pick your battles. Another problem they seem to have, it's a lot less common than the other thing I'm going to talk about, but I've seen it. Some people have complained that their products have come in damaged. Like, when they order it, it seems fine, but when they get it, it's like all broken. Like it looks like someone had just taken a hammer to it and just on one hand, they could have bought a cosmetically flawed version. Like if it's not too bad, but if it's just a tad dirty, they could have just ordered a cosmetically flawed version and didn't know it. That's not necessarily their fault. They just didn't look. On the other hand, it arrived damaged in the sense that when it got shipped, it broke. That's not DKOldies' fault. Like, I mean, it's one thing if Joey, like, if they recorded a YouTube short or like a TikTok, and Joey just threw that box into the shipping truck, and was like, "It's on its way." It's another thing if you look at your Ring camera and you see that a minimum wage employee kind of just Kobe'd it onto your porch. That should not be DKOldies' fault if a minimum wage employee Kobe's your PS3 system onto your porch. DKOldies should not be at fault of that, I think. I think it should be in fault of the employee that did it and the company that the shipping employee works for should take responsibility for that. And maybe fire the guy even if they feel so inclined. But like, you wouldn't complain that let's say I ship something to your door, right? And let's say we're besties. And I ship something to your door. I'm like, here's an early birthday present. And it arrived like completely shattered. You wouldn't blame me for it. You would blame the shipping company. Be like, UPS, Amazon, I hate those guys. They ruined my birthday present. It's like a weird double standard thing that people have going on. But yeah. Point is, company isn't at the fault. It's the shipping company. It's not the seller. It's the shipper. Okay, now time for the meat and bones of this drama. So, some people have made videos where they unbox or show the consoles that they bought from DK, and they have come not clean. One video I've even seen, they had the cosmetically flawed version chosen, and they bought it anyway, and they were like, I can't wait to make a video on this, I guess. Anyway, the cosmetically flawed consoles are workable. Like, I'm sure that when DK gets it, they, clean it up, make sure that it's workable. Like, that it can play games, and that it has a memory. And, the people have a problem with it because it's a little dirty. And, they say that they refurbish their consoles, right? In the cosmetically flawed version's case, you're buying it at a cheaper price because it's not cleaned. You're buying it at a cheaper price and you know it's workable. You're buying it at a cheaper price, you know it's dirty, and you know it's workable. But I understand why people would get mad at it being them ordering a good condition one and it come dirty. That's one thing. And again, it's another thing if it's a cosmetically flawed version. Although this isn't really much of a problem if you're not buying consoles on the daily. If you just buy games from them, or you just buy controllers, or you just buy accessories from DK, then it's not going to be a problem for you. But if you're like some of these people who want a new console of something that you've played before in your childhood, and you want to relive it, or whatever, that's probably going to be a problem for you. But it's not going to be for me. And I'm sure there's some cases where they've overlooked a console, and they thought they cleaned it, or they already thought it was clean / considered it clean. and send it off to someone who wanted a good condition console. And that can't really be helped. That was an accident. Oh no, get over it. It was a mistake on their part. And if that happened, or if that does happen, they definitely should own up to it. I'm not against that. What I am against is people ordering a cosmetically flawed version and be like, look, it's dirty. Look, it's got a little bit of dust on it. And I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say that they probably weren't malicious about it. If they are malicious about it, oh no, I'm wrong. But I don't know. Maybe it's because Joey always has a smile on his face, but I don't think he would purposefully give someone a bad console or a bad game just for the sake of giving someone a bad console or a bad game. And Joey, I want to make this clear. Joey is not like the owner. He's not the head. Someone else is. I forgot his name, but someone else is. And if it's on purpose, it's his fault. It's not Joey's. It's not the other people's. It's that guy's. Also, people are complaining about their bubble wrap being taped. Like, get over yourself. It's not going to move during shipping.
Sorry, kiddo. Blue doesn't suit me.
I've also seen videos of people making fun of DKOldies and acting like, oh, they're so horrible. They don't even bubble wrap their consoles or something. I've only seen these videos by one guy, and they're all the same, by the way. And he needs to lower down his mic volume a little bit. But he's painting DK in a bad light in the sense of their videos. Like, he would throw the quote-unquote products, because this is fake. It's a fake video. He's just doing this for S&Gs. But, like, he would throw the quote products into the box, and, he would be like, and since your order got picked to be filmed, I'm throwing in my belly button lint. Like, Joey does that. And, like, I get that it's a troll. I get he's doing this because he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's whatever. But you shouldn't make fun of somebody because you think that their products or their business model is bad. Like, it's one thing if they really are bad. Like, it's one thing if this is all on purpose and it's one big money-making scheme and it's one big cash cow. It's a completely other thing if it's not, and these are genuine people doing genuine things, and the head of the company is at fault, and not the people making the videos. But maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased because I've been made fun of over the internet. Okay? Maybe I'm biased. But don't do that. Please. Maybe don't. And, like, the guy making these videos is a grown adult. He is a grown adult man. He's a grown adult man, how about? He could probably be my dad. He's probably as old as my dad. And he's making videos like this. And maybe don't do that. Especially if you're as old as my dad. In conclusion, is DKOldies a scam? Not really. Are they overpriced? A little bit. Don't harass and make fun of them. Maybe don't. I think most of the videos that pop up when you want to look for the scam allegations are at least a little bit exaggerated. Like, maybe they're playing it up a little. I'm sure there's some truth to them in some of them. But I'm sure at least a little bit of them are exaggerated. And, like, a lot of the, titles I've seen is like, DKOldies has lost their minds, or DKOldies is crazy. And I think that's kind of cliche when it comes to drama videos. And yeah, that's it. I have nothing else. Moral of the story, don't. Okay, bye.
Your contact has expired. Sleep now in the fire. You're gonna meet your match. Your soul.